Yay, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Bill Mahari here, representing MehariNation Sports Podcast. Major salute to the entire LDBC and the basketball community. I just wanted to talk to you guys about my thoughts on All Star Weekend in Chicago. You understand? It was a really, really well done, weekend of basketball. In the Windy City, it was the first All Star weekend in the city of Chicago since 1988. You understand what I'm saying? Overall, I was very, very pleased of how the NBA, put this all together. You understand? We had a lot of good competitions, a lot of festivities, and then also a lot of, and basically an excellent tribute to both to the late Commissioner David Stern and to Kobe Bryant though as well. Now, I wanted to get into some of the stuff that I really, really took a lot of a lot of impressment with. Now, Saturday night, I was watching in between both the Caleb Plant fight and also, All Star Saturday night. So I was kind of going back and forth. Um, Bam Adebayo won the skills contest. He's a very, very good, versatile forward there too, who also made the All Star team this year for the Eastern Conference as well. Um, really did a great. He really impressed me with his ability to pass the ball. His shooting ability though too, and is a very good, well versatile player that can basically play two different positions in the forward area as well. And considering that the NBA plays a lot of small ball, he can probably play center though too as well. So I really thought that he really had put on a good show in the skills concept though too as well. You understand what I'm saying? And I really took it from there. Um, the 3 point contest is without a doubt, from my opinion at least. Now, I don't know anyone else's opinions, but in my opinion at least, is perhaps the best competition out of the entire, Saturday night of different competitions. And here's why. The 3 point contest is a real true effort competition. You can't hide effort when it comes to shooting, okay? Unfortunately, we didn't have the big stars like the Damian Lillards, the Kevin Durant, and the Steph Currys that were obviously the marquee 3 point shooters in the NBA. So we had Devin Booker, Joe Harris. We also had Buddy Hield as well, go guys. So it was really a really well built you know mix, and also Trey Young though too, who also competed in the 3 point contest. You understand? Um, I really like the Mountain Dew green ball feature, where if you shoot the ball from basically from Curry range, you get 3 points out of it. So it really changed a lot of things that you don't normally see in an all star 3 point contest. You know, I think Buddy. I don't think Buddy Yield made them both though. I think maybe was it no Joe Harris had a hard time trying to adjust and try to find where the green ball is. He almost skipped over it though too. So, but Devin Booker made both of his though for the first time as well. So it was really, really fun. And the last minutes of the last round was an epic classic. It basically brought back memories of 1988 between Dale Ellis of the Seattle Supersonics, who was a really, really good shooter back in them days. If you don't know who Dale Ellis is, I would do yourself a favor. Go research one of his highlight reels. You'll be very, very impressed against the legend Larry Bird, who was a two-time defending champion. And it came down to the last three buckets, and Larry Bird made the last three shots, including the money ball, in which he shot the ball. He knew it was going in, and he pointed up into the sky and said number one, and drilled it right down the net. Epic classic. Now, Buddy Hield needed a 27 to beat Devin Booker's 26, and he made four out of his last money balls, including the last one there. You understand, that went right down the net. It was really, it was really an exciting finish, and it really brought back memories of Bird's performance in '88, where he had to make the last three shots to defend his championship. And so Buddy Hield unleashed his Black Mamba mentality, and hit the big shot to win the 3 point contest. You know, I really enjoyed the 3 point contest better than the skills challenge and the slam dunk contest, because that's where the real competition lies, and where real skills used for shoot. You understand? It was really, really fun. I really loved it. And as I see E. Woodson, my good brother, in the building though too, salute my brother. Now we get into the slam dunk contest, and Aaron Gordon came back for a second time after he some people thought he was robbed in 2016 in Toronto against, Zach LaVine. I thought that, it could have went either way in 2016. It was really, really close. But I was very disappointed on the finish. Now, the other dunks I really enjoyed, Dwight Howard paid tribute to Kobe Bryant with the Superman dunk in front of Shaquille O'Neal. Even though Shaq, still plays his petty beef with Dwight, I don't know why. He really needs to let that go. But Dwight paid tribute to Kobe in the best way, doing the Superman dunk he did back in New Orleans in 2007. Um, the last round when it came down to uh, Jones Jr. of the Miami Heat and Aaron Gordon of the Magic. It was really it was really really a close one down the stretch. But listen, Aaron Gordon got robbed really really badly. And originally, um, Aaron Gordon wanted to dunk over Shaquille O'Neal. He went up to Shaquille O'Neal and said, "Why don't you come do this dunk for me?" And Shaq, declined it. And then he pointed out, I don't know who pointed out. I think Shaq may have pointed him out. He said, "Why don't Taco Fall, does it?" And Taco, at first said he didn't want to do it, but then he was kind of encouraged by the people in the crowd, to go on ahead and do it though too. So it was really really exciting to see. Aaron Gordon, who's I think he's around 6'10", something like that, 6'10" or something like that. Let me check his height real quick. Aaron Gordon's height real quick. Just a real quick. Aaron Gordon. Yeah, he's 6'9". So really he had to use a lot of his vertical leap and his core and lower body to really jump over a guy who's 7'4" and Taco Fall. And I knew if he completed this dunk and does it perfectly, he would get a 50 out of it. That's my original thought. And he completed the dunk. He jumped over Taco Fall, and the crowd went absolutely nuts. And I was even nuts there though too. It reminded me back in 2015 when Zach LaVine took over the house when he did the free throw line dunk, and I was sitting in the nosebleeds, and I was just shocked at what I saw out of it. It was really, really, really fun. But the scoring was absolutely ridiculous. Now, as you look back at the scoring at that one though, too, man, he scored a 47, and I don't understand why could that be. Common and Candace Parker scored it correctly as a 10 because they understood how difficult that kind of dunk is. Now, Chadwick Boseman, scored it a 9, and I'm not going to rip on him because he's just a volunteer judge, so I don't really care too much about it at all. But Scottie Pippen and Dwayne Wade scored at a 9. And I immediately shook my head. Like, you guys, listen, Wade and Pippen are one of the best dunkers in the game. How do you not see how difficult that dunk is? Especially to dunk over a 7'4" guy, actually 7'5" guy into Taco Fall. How do you not see how difficult that is? Listen, if you wanted to say that score was a 49, I would have had no problem with it. But for them to score, but for those two guys, both Wade and Pippen, to score a 9 was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't understand what the thinking of this was. You know what I mean? Even Dwayne Wade too. Dwayne Wade, of all people, knows how difficult it is to attack and try to dunk over people that are taller than him. You have to have good vertical to try to jump over these guys. I just thought that the judging was ridiculous. So, Jones Jr. of the Heat won the dunk contest, controversially. You understand what I'm saying? Left a bad taste in my mouth because, Aaron Gordon said in the press conference afterwards that he's no longer going to do the slam dunk contest again because that's twice that he felt that he got robbed. Now, 2016, it could have went either way. I felt that it could have went either way between LaVine and Gordon, but Gordon had more creative dunks. And, it did more creative things that I think LaVine did. LaVine basically stuck to the same formula that he won the 2015 contest, and he was able to scrape by through it because Shaq, judge, even though his judging was a little bit cruel, but he was been consistent. Pippen and Wade's scoring was far too inconsistent. And it came back to bid Gordon in the backside. And I think that what they're going to need to do for the dunk contest is instead of using whole numbers, they should do it by decimals. If you listen, because you can't listen, you're giving away 50s to dunks that don't deserve a 50. Understand? Understand what I'm telling you? If you're going to give a dunk a higher grade. If you think that there was a dunk that does not deserve a 10, go by decimal numbers like 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, something like that, because then it would eliminate the need to score a whole number like a 10, a 9, an 8, or a 7. That way, it could be a bit more of a consistent score and a bit more of an honest score. But because adding nines on the board on a dunk like what Aaron Gordon did was absolutely, just atrocious. There's no way you can't tell me that Aaron Gordon's dunk is not a 50. I'm sorry. People don't understand how difficult it is to dunk over a 7 footer, but at least a 7'5" center in Taco Fall. I just felt that they basically jobbed out Aaron Gordon. And this is not the first time this happened in Chicago. Remember back in 1988? You understand? Dominique Wilkins had back-to-back 50s, and then he's in his last time scored a 49, and then they gave Jordan a 50 when he did the same free throw line dunk. You understand? And so it I think that the dunk contest needs a little bit of a revamp in terms of their scoring, but I was very, very impressed with a lot of the dunks I saw. It was really much fun, a fun Saturday night. Now, the All-Star game that took place last night. I felt that the new rules and the new, way of scoring was going to be very, very interesting. The last couple of years, the All Star games have been kind of just been bore fest where people just, fell asleep. I remember in 2015, I was excited to be in Madison Square Garden for All Star Weekend, but the chaperone that was watching me, next to me courtside, he fell asleep. Halfway through the game because he just couldn't take it anymore because the game was just so boring because the players were not trying. But this new scoring, the round number, heading the round number to the last quarter, you understand, and then basically at the end of each quarter, you basically culminate each quarter, and the team that wins each quarter gets a certain amount of money to turn to their charity. I felt that it was really, really a fun, different kind of rule, different kind of system there to try to at least get the players to actually try and compete. And what we saw in that fourth quarter was absolute 100% effort. These guys went after it. You understand? And Kawhi Leonard, showed that his Kobe Mamba assassin mentality. He came in there, didn't say much, but he did major work. He dropped 30 points. He made 8 3-pointers in that game, and really took the game over. You understand? And I think that LeBron, because there's been some people that said that LeBron should have won the MVP, but Aaron Kawhi Leonard deserved it more because he basically was putting up major buckets, and guys were playing defense, hustling for loose balls. I mean, it was a real, really competitive All-Star game. I really enjoyed, watching it from start to finish, and I didn't sleep throughout the whole thing. And actually, my favorite part of the All-Star game is when CP3 caught an alley-oop pass from Russell Westbrook, and I was like, wow. It's like the first time I've ever seen CP3 catching a lob pass, because usually CP3 was the guy throwing the lob passes. So for him to catch the lob pass and throw it down with a two-handed slam was really, really fun. You understand? I really enjoyed the entire game. Thankfully I didn't sleep through the whole thing because it was basically all out effort. And I hope that from this point forward, they keep the same format. Don't change anything. If we can get these kind of all-star games in the next few years, you know what? Guys are If the guys are willing to compete and play with these kind of new rules, I'm all for it. If we can get these kind of games next year and from the next few all-star games, I'm sold. It was really these rules worked out to perfection, and it made the players compete, which I really, really love to see. Now, if you ask me what's my favorite All Star game of all time? Hey, Andre, how you doing though, bro? I'm just chopping up about my thoughts on the All Star weekend and the game. Just chopping it up. Um, if you ask me, what do you think this is the greatest All Star game of all time? I would stare at you to your face and I'll say, no, I don't. That game belongs to the 2001 NBA All Star game in DC, when Allen Iverson scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to basically lead the Eastern Conference back to defeat the West 111 to 110 in an epic classic. And don't forget, Kobe Bryant was hitting major shots down the stretch. I think he had like 10 straight points for the West. You understand? And then Iverson hits a three. Kobe comes back, hits a baseline jumper. Then Marbury hits the three. You understand? It was basically a back and forth affair that was basically went down to the final minutes. You understand? That game was perhaps the greatest All-Star game that was ever played, bar none, bar none. I remember watching it when I was a kid. I was rooting for the West to win that day because KG was kind of my favorite player. It was a little disappointed that the West didn't win, but it was really a competitive game. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and these guys competed down to the stretch there too. And Iverson carried the team on his back and led them to victory. And so, that culminated to a great season that Iverson had where he won All-Star MVP and regular season MVP and leading into the NBA Finals, where they ultimately, lost to Shaq and Kobe and the Lakers, where they went 15-1 in the postseason. So, it is what it is. Hey, Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens. Salute, my brother. Thanks for coming in, my man. So, yeah. But my favorite, you know, that's my favorite all-time, all-star game from start to finish. It was just really, really fun. And it was also at the time when NBC broadcasted the all-star games, though, too. Because for a long time, TNT would just broadcast the all-star games after 2003. So I didn't see a lot of all-star games up until 2016 when they 2016. Now I attended the 2015 All-Star game in New York City, and I was actually having fun and had a good time. And you guys can see from my back poster wall on my channel, I even participated in a unified basketball game in the Garden myself. So yeah, there's a little bit of a personal sentiment for me. But I really enjoyed, had a good time, and they really played their hearts out, in effort and tribute to Kobe Bryant because Kobe always played hard in every single game, even in All Star games though too. And they named the All Star MVP after Kobe Bryant now. So now Kawhi Leonard is the first recipient of the Kobe Bryant All Star MVP award, and hopefully now that it's going to stay for good. But the NBA did a really good job of hosting All Star Weekend. That is a special tribute to David Stern that helped rebuild the NBA from the ground up. You understand, after basically almost went into this distinction in the 70s, and then Kobe Bryant, who became an inspiration for all the All Stars and for all fans around the world. You understand? I felt it was really well done, and everybody enjoyed the festivities when it was able to celebrate the life of Kobe Bryant. You understand what I'm saying? And also too, those guys, Kobe Bryant, KG, and Tim Duncan are basically the finalists for the 2020 class of the Basketball Hall of Fame. The entire class will not be announced until I think April the 2nd, when during Final Four weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. So we won't know who's going to be in the Hall of Fame up until then. But you could bet your bottom dollar that Kobe Bryant, Duncan, and Garnett, they're going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. Now, I did a video about Kevin Garnett and his long-standing beef with the Minnesota Timberwolves in my previous video on my channel, though, too. So you can go ahead and check out the archives of that. Now, to close out my thoughts by saying this, from this point though forward, I expect now that these All-Star games to be a bit more competitive. You understand? If they if they continue these kind of rules and not make any unnecessary changes to it, I'm all in because it was a great game that everybody showed all out effort, all out hustle, and they did it in a special way to honor the memory of Kobe Bryant. And from this point forward, I'm gonna be very, very interested to see how a lot of the players around the league are gonna basically honor Kobe Bryant in their way. You understand? And now it's time for the second half of the season to begin. A lot of things are gonna happen though too, guys. So now the race to the playoffs begin, and we're gonna see how the contenders are gonna basically fine tune their team and get ready for the postseason, and how the teams that are on the bubble are trying to get into the last playoff spot make that big push to get into the postseason. But that's just my thoughts on the entire 2020 NBA All-Star Weekend. It was really, really well done by Chicago, and hopefully they can do more of these games in the future, though, too. So it is what it is, though, too, guys. But I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for now, though, too. So let's turn it over to BFTB Boxing and show him the love that he gets. BFTB Boxing goes live at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, though, too, guys. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out, though, too, guys. But much love to you guys. All right, you guys. So come back Friday at 9 p.m. Central Time for basketball conversation, though, too. We're about to get heated up to the NCAA tournament. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the favorites I see and a lot of the teams that can make a deep run to the Final Four in Atlanta, Georgia. So this is the Bill Mahari, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast. A major salute to the entire LDBC, and have a great day, guys.